often of hard times.
And so tonight,
We're gonna return some money back to you.
can you explain to me how you robbed a bank 5,000 miles away?
Magic.
I'm gonna nail you.
First rule of magic, always be the smartest guy in the room.
The bank was the distraction. What's about to follow is really going to amaze. Now you see me.
Locked.
Nothing's ever locked.
Rated PG-13, May 31st.
God, I really do not like these movies. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Today we are taking a look at the two films that wrap up May 2013, May 31st to be exact. Neither one of them are very good, and we're starting off with our first movie here, the biggest of the two, Now You See Me, which is timely because the third installment of this series has come out, and yeah, still not convinced of anything good coming out of this series in general. The premise of this is that you have an FBI agent played by Mark Ruffalo and an Interpol detective who track and attempt to bring down to justice a team of magicians played by Jesse Eisenberg, Isla Fisher, and Woody Harrelson who pull off bank heists and robberies during their performances and reward the audiences with the money. Now, here's the thing. The idea is pretty cool. A heist movie set around magicians. I mean, there's a lot of fun ideas you could have with it. There's a fun concept that you could have with this. And this movie sort of kind of has that. Until it doesn't. And then the movie that follows is just kind of bland and boring and pretty forgettable. And even the attempts of action that they try to do here don't really pay off all that well in general here. They take a concept that should be really, really good and really, really clever and just kind of play it straight. They don't do anything too shocking or groundbreaking. Even the tricks they do are really not that amazing because they've been done to death before in so many other movies and shows. And you look at it just kind of like, where's the problems with this? Why is this not working for me? And really, the best way I think I could describe it is that, it's like I said, we've seen this story done before so many times. They take a concept that should be clever and unique and stand out on its own, but it just falls into a bland, generic heist movie. You've got a guy that's supposed to be a bad guy, is supposed to be the antagonist of the movie. You got these characters that we've seen in the Ocean's movies, done much better. All played by good actors. There's a strong cast in this movie. I mean, you know, Eisenberg, Ruffalo, Harrelson, Isla Fisher, Dave Franco, Common, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Melanie Laurent. I mean, there is a good cast here. There's a good director, Louis Leterrier, who did The Incredible Hulk, the 2008 movie. But it just doesn't work because it just falls into the same type of movie we've seen done before so many times before. These characters are not interesting whatsoever. And after 3 movies, when you see these characters be nothing unique or different, they just keep being the same, but they're the same people that they've always been. Snarky, they think they're better than everybody else, but there's nothing about them that really makes them stand out or do anything special. And that's really the biggest thing in the movie, is that it's nothing amazing that really takes what should be a spot-on, really cool concept that should be an all-around winner, and just leaves into a movie that you're watching and going like, come on, just get along with it already. And the ending they do here also is a major flaw too, because it's just like, you're setting this whole thing up and that's how you're going to set it up with? Like, it just didn't work with me with this movie. And none of these movies really wowed me. I mean, I don't know why so many people get hooked on these films, but I just don't get it, man. There's the same there's been better movies with this same concept, done so much better. You know, some of the people that are in here have been in movies like that. Michael Caine was in a great magician movie that played with your expectations in The Prestige. That's a great movie. This is a boring ass movie with characters that you don't have any sympathy for. You don't want to get attached to them at all because they're kind of obnoxious douchebags. And you just expect so much more from this film, and it just isn't there. And I was really let down by it when I first saw it. And I thought maybe the sequels would up the ante a little bit here, but neither one of them ever did that. This is a major, major misfire that I don't really get why they make sequels to this. I mean, this is up there with Fantastic Beasts for one of the most pointless trilogies I have ever seen in my entire life, where even the first film isn't that good to begin with. Like, The Hangover at least had one good movie out of that 3 films that they did. This and that Fantastic Beasts do not, and we'll get to Fantastic Beasts eventually in 2016, just like we will with Now You See Me 2, but yeah, I'm not a fan of this movie. Not a fan at all. But then again, I'm not a fan of our last movie that we have here. The pairing of M. Night Shyamalan and Will Smith that clearly nobody was asking for, but Sony said, well, fuck it, you're getting it anyway. After Earth.
Go make some good memories together. Right.
Crash landed.
On May 31st, everything on this planet has evolved. Suit up. Take my cutlass. Dive in for one of the biggest adventures of the summer.
That's it.
After Earth, rated PG-13.
The bottom of the barrel for M. Night Shyamalan. And I know The Last Airbender and The Happening were terrible, but this literally was his bottom before he would eventually rise back up in a couple of years with The Visit. But this was the straw that broke the camel's back for his first stretch run here, starting with The Sixth Sense, and now this is the end result of that. After Earth is based on an idea by Will Smith about a father and son trip in the wilderness before it's eventually reworked into a sci-fi setting, taking place 1,000 years in the future where humans evacuate Earth to another planet due to a massive environmental catastrophe. The film follows father and son Cypher and Guitar Rage. That should already tell you everything you need to know about how pretentious this movie is. Who find themselves crash landing on the abandoned Earth. When Cypher gets injured from the crash, Kata must travel across the wild environment in search of a backup beacon to fire a distress signal, while having to defend himself from the highly evolved animals, as well as an extraterrestrial creature that will detect its prey by smelling fear. Last Airbender is bad. It's the worst thing M. Night Shyamalan has ever done, but this clearly is the second worst thing he's ever done. I mean, this is strictly on M. Night Shyamalan. You know, despite Shyamalan directing this, it's him and Will Smith, because Will Smith is the one who wrote the story for this. He made this a starring vehicle for his son, Jaden Smith, and this was the end of his brief career after The Karate Kid and The Pursuit of Happiness, because, yeah, nobody wanted to work with him after this movie anymore. They wanted to make this a trilogy, but this thing is a cinematic wasteland of nothingness. Nothing is happening in this movie. Nothing worthy. Nothing that, kind of like Now You See Me, nothing that you haven't seen done before. The future aspects of it are so generic and so boring that you cannot believe. Sony looked at this and said, sounds good, keep it going. It's just like, no, there's nothing there. It's a boring movie because none of your two leads are not interesting. The story is not intriguing whatsoever. The dad's kind of a douchebag to his son, and the son's not helping being a likable character either. He sucks. You hate everybody in this movie. You hate the scenarios that they're in. The world that they go to here looks like the most blandish, generic-ass future post-apocalyptic world you've ever seen. The CG looks terrible. The film just is a cinematic wasteland of nothingness. That's the best way to describe it. I don't think I got much more to say about this one. After Earth is a massive, massive failure. It killed Jaden Smith's career. It killed Will Smith for a little bit, and it killed M. Night Shyamalan for a little bit before a guy named Jason Blum came 2 years later and said, "Come with me, Mr. Shyamalan. We'll get your career back on track." And all a good time. All a good time. We'll get to that one. But yeah, that's all I got to say about After Earth. Yeah, one good week out of 5 really bad weeks. That logic actually doesn't make sense. One good week out of 5 weeks this summer so far, and yeah, the previous weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, was probably the best one because we had more than one good movie. Yeah, we are not off to a good start for the summer of 2013, but the next time on Time About the Movies, we'll jump into June. A brand new month. Surely things will get better here, and I do see a couple of good movies on here. We have The Purge, which is a film that has a really clever concept to it, and certainly is not a precursor to anything that may happen in the future overall. I'm not saying it hasn't happened yet, but let's be honest, with the current administration we have, it wouldn't be shocking at all if they look at The Purge and someone says, why don't we do something just like that? But we'll talk about that one. We'll talk about easily the worst movie of the week, and easily one of the worst movies of the year. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn are two old boomers who have no idea what the internet is. Oh, I'm sorry. It's called The Internship, and it's directed by a usually reliable director in Sean Levy. And man, this may be the worst thing he's ever directed. I'd have to look again, but this movie's pretty bad. We'll take a look at The Internship, but then we'll get back on track with Joss Whedon's follow-up to The Avengers, and it's not a big blockbuster. It's a modern-day adaptation of William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. So we'll at least have 2 good movies out of 3 films to take a look at next time around. So we're already on a better track than we have been for most of the summer. Like I said, summer 2013 fucking sucks, man. It's a terrible, terrible summer. And yeah, this week we'll definitely get more movies that are actually good, rather than the weeks where we've had some bad movies and some disappointments. But we'll touch on all those coming up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. With all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist. Don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. And of course, happy Thanksgiving to all of you if you're still watching this. I know that by the time I'm recording this, it's already early Friday morning, so you're probably not even watching this right now. You're probably getting ready for Black Friday shopping, if you still do that outside, which... Hey, more power to you, man. I mean, I wish there were places around here that could still do that, but I'm kind of stretching this outro out too long here. But yeah, you know the basics by now. So, with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. Whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.